Hello, fellow fans. I'm Mark, and united with me is my co-host, the optimal Bryan. What up, Bryan?
Hey everyone.
And on the last episode, Bryan and I played ball with guest host Anthony to create our Field of Dreams team filled with a roster of on-screen players, and it was perfectly timed up with the Field of Dreams game. On this week's episode, we are discussing Ryan Reynolds and his career in comic book movies here on United We Fan, the podcast.
The truth is, I am Iron Man.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
What is going on? What are you doing?
To infinity and beyond!
This is the way.
The flux capacitor.
Was Star Wars the one with the little wizard boy?
Chewie, we're home.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Ah, chills. Literal chills.
All right, thank you all for uniting with us as we talk about all things fandom. Please give us a rate or review wherever you listen so you can unite with more fans out there. UWF is partnered up with This Diz Life podcast family. Lots of wonderful podcasts and live shows on there. Check them out on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see, in Mark and Bryan's World News, Bryan, didn't a long-awaited trailer just drop, and I think I heard it was very popular. Is that true?
Yeah, the rumor is that, well, not even a rumor. It broke the record even of Avengers Endgame for the most trailer views in 24 hours. The long-awaited preview for Spider-Man No Way Home came out after much, much ado, and it showed exactly what I thought it would and nothing much more than that. I am happy to know that it's not like a full-blown Spider-Man ripoff, and they're not just telling the story of Spider-Verse in another way, and they're actually central to the plot is Spider-Man being outed in the post-credit scene of Far From Home, so I'm happy about that. Other than that, I don't want to see any more trailer breakdowns. I've had enough of consuming what people think of this trailer. I just want to know what happens. I can't wait to see the movie, and I hope we do on December 17th.
Right. Yeah, there's so many breakdowns. That was a worry of mine. You and I are both huge into the Spider-Verse fans. Feel free to listen to our episode if you would like to know how much we definitely did an episode on Spider-Verse. And heck, check out Bryan, our first episode, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. It's almost like we knew way back then that it was going to be a big deal again.
Sound so different.
Yeah. I liked the preview was really good. It didn't there was other previews that made me feel a little bit more, but for our first one, it was good stuff. But I would have been just fine with just a title and a release date and Tom Holland being like, wow, I didn't need anything else. So, and then let's see, Marvel this week, we finally get another Marvel movie. Of course, recently Black Widow is still out in theaters and still on Disney Plus premium access, not quite free yet. Definitely go see it. But this week we get Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Bryan, make everyone at home listening jealous and let them know about your special advanced IMAX screening you got to go to.
The advanced IMAX screening was a lot of fun. It was fun to be in there with a bunch of other Marvel fans who didn't know what to expect from the film. It's a very different energy than most other MCU films. It has plenty of MCU callbacks, so don't be afraid that it won't fit into the universe, but it does not feel like your normal MCU movie. It is very Jet Li level, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type of action and choreography more than it is any other MCU film, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not going to say it's my favorite MCU film ever. It's not that good, but it fits into the MCU just fine.
You saw it in IMAX, and they did film scenes with IMAX in mind. Do you recommend people seeing it in IMAX?
If you can, yeah. There's some pretty grand scenes that I just would look so good on the IMAX compared to any other screen format.
And the big question nowadays, people are like, do I need to see this in theaters, or is it something I could see? I know a lot of people ask that. They're like, I think I could have just seen that on Disney Plus, didn't need a movie theater, which I loved it on the big screen, so that breaks my heart. But do you think Shang-Chi is a movie that is benefited from seeing it on a big screen?
If we're going to look at it as the one film, I don't know. I think this would have been an okay premiere access type of title. I really do. I do think that Bob Chapek is kind of insert foot in mouth a little bit, calling the film an experiment. I know what he means by calling it an experiment. I think that people would take kindly to this film seeing it on premiere access. But simple fact of the matter is, if you want to see Eternals on November 5th and you want to see Spider-Man No Way Home on December 17th, Shang-Chi needs to perform well. So if you feel comfortable any way whatsoever going out to the movie theater, please give it your support, because if we don't, it's going to have a really big domino effect that we really just don't know what that's going to be. I'm not telling anybody to do anything that they're not comfortable doing, but I would recommend going out to the movie theater to see this, because there are surprises in it that are going to get out that you're going to want to see before you hear about it. And it's just not going to get to Disney Plus without you knowing some of those surprises.
Well, I will be going Thursday night to see it for the first time. So on our next episode, Bryan and I will have a much more fun review for you all. And I mean, Bryan, if they wanted to hear more of our thoughts on Marvel, over on This Diz Life, you have Earth's Mightiest Weirdos, and that's live every Monday. And Bryan, how could we not talk about that the week after Shang-Chi? We're going to talk about that, right?
We are going to talk about it in non-spoilery fashion. We are conscious to the fact that it is only in theaters and not everybody's going to be able to get out, especially Labor Day weekend, to check it out. We're not going to be as timely with the spoiler review like we were with Black Widow, but we're going to talk about Shang-Chi in length at some point within the month of September for sure. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to continue talking about What If. Again, like you said, Mark, every Monday night, 8:30 on YouTube, Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. We have a good carousel of weirdos that join us that give us fresh perspectives from all different kinds of just vantage points and how they take in the show as well. It's been a really fun show. And like you said, Mark, we're going to talk about Shang-Chi. We're going to talk about Eternals and everything else that happens in between.
And I mean, you mentioned it. Speaking of What If, we're 3 episodes in. Each episode is extremely different. I still love with the Watcher starting each episode. It reminds me of Outer Limits, Twilight Zone. I love that part of it. Are we still in spoiler territory with it? I don't know. I've enjoyed.
So by the time people hear this, it'll have been a week. So
yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed each episode. Each one brings something different to it. The first one is still my personal favorite, but each episode, Also, I hope they have a art making of book like they do for some of the Marvel movies. Well, actually, all the Marvel movies. I hope they do one for this show. But yeah, What If? If you have theories, if you have thoughts, please tune in to Earth's Mightiest Weirdos on This Diz Life, YouTube, and Facebook. And we love live comments. So if you have thoughts, we want to hear it and talk to you.
And if you're hearing this, episode 4 of What If will have just dropped. Also on Disney Plus, talking about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. They uploaded a Marvel one-shot, which used to be these basically short films that were attached to the Marvel Studios DVDs. And the one attached to Thor the Dark World was called All Hail the King. And it's a 13-minute short film about Trevor Slattery and who he is in impersonating the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. But the reason they put it back on Disney Plus is to introduce you what the 10 rings are and what to expect from the Mandarin in Shang-Chi and who the 10 rings are and everything else that's happening. So if you're on Disney Plus, before you go see Shang-Chi, watch All Hail the King. Well worth 13 minutes to be reintroduced to what the 10 rings are, or to be simply introduced as to what the 10 rings are. So that and What If episode 4 will all be on Disney Plus. There will also be a Marvel Studios Legends episode on September 1st as well, getting ready for Shang-Chi.
There you go. Yep. So like the fake Mandarin says, don't panic. You can handle it.
Panic, but then I handled it.
Bryan, I really do have to thank you for me enjoying Iron Man 3 a lot more. So
Trevor Slattery is the greatest.
Trevor, man, Christmas Carol Iron Man 3. Anyways, yeah. So check it out. You'll be prepared for it, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. So, we can't have an episode without talking about
Nine!
Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We're a couple episodes into the last season, and we heard they threw out all the scripts, rewrote everything, just with everything that's going on in the world. They wanted to make sure that they took everything into consideration. You can see that definitely. Personally, the show still makes me laugh, but I am glad that it's the last season. I don't want to ever show a brilliant show to ever overstay its welcome. But also, fun fact, if anyone's gone on the Warner Brothers tour in Hollywood, you will recognize a whole lot in episode 2. So that made me giggle. But yeah, Brian, are you enjoying your ride along?
It's not off to the strongest start. That's what I will say. They gave me a storyline in the second episode talking about that Warner Brothers area that you mentioned. I really, really thought that did not fit into the character development that we've gotten for 2 specific characters throughout the first 7 seasons of this show. I'm not a gigantic fan of how it started. There are episodes that are out that I have not yet seen. I haven't prioritized it just because for those reasons. Again, like you said, they changed scripts. They changed a lot of stuff for what's going on in the world. I don't hold that against them. I understand what the card that they've been dealt and what they had to do. But it's hard to find that right balance right now. And I hope they figure it out in the remaining 6 episodes of the season before the show finishes up. I wouldn't say no to some sort of potential spinoff that could happen. It depends on who it's starring and all that kind of stuff. I'm good with it. I really like the show. But it's off to a tough start for me, but I'm judging it by how much I loved the first 7 seasons.
Right. And, fans, we definitely love the show. We did a sitcom characters, and Brian and I, of course, had to talk about Captain Holt. Check out that episode. And then we did an episode just talking about TV recently on Ted Lasso Season 1. Why? Ted Lasso Season 2 is currently ongoing, several episodes in, and we talked about a slow start to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I will admit the first 2 episodes were slowest for me, but then after that show went from like an 8 to a 10 again for me. Actually, no, like a 9 to a 10 again for me. And I love Ted Lasso. That Christmas episode is going to be a Christmas tradition for me. Roy Kent's
been the best player on every team he's been on since he was a kid. I like being Roy Kent. I don't know if I can handle just being some loser has-been called Roy.
I realize how much I relate to his facial gestures and his sounds. Roy Kent, I'm a big fan of Roy Kent. But yeah, Season 2 going strong. If you have not started Ted Lasso, it is a show that you will love.
I genuinely do not think it's hyperbole to say that it is my favorite Christmas sitcom episode ever. And it, like you said, it's going to be in my Christmas tradition. We did Christmas movies last year. This year might have to be Christmas sitcom episodes. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love the storylines that they're setting up. They're diving into some of the side characters you didn't expect and giving them stories that you didn't expect. There's not even a main antagonist in this season, and you don't really notice because of all the moving parts. I really, really, really love that show.
Yeah. So watch Season 1, listen to our episode as we have some fun thoughts with Mark from This Diz Life, and then definitely check out Season 2. That concludes Mark and Brian's World News. We're going to move on to Mark and Brian's Hot Take. And I think I might lose some friends on this one from our Disney family. So recently, it was posted about Disney princesses from the Fox studio. And
hang on. I forgot.
Feeling hot.
Now you can go.
That gives me some time. Yes, I am definitely feeling hot. Here's my hot take. If the movie was not made by Disney Animation or even Pixar, it is not a Disney princess. I am a huge fan of Anastasia. I love the movie. Saw the musical, Broadway musical. Dig it. The Queen Alien from Aliens. She is not a Disney princess. Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror is not a Disney princess. Thumbelina is not a Disney princess. You will not ever see them in the parks doing a meet and greet. Why? Because they are not Disney princesses, friends. Yes, Disney owns Fox, but that's not a Disney princess. So they are a distant cousin. So there's my hot take.
Change your future.
Oh my God. So Bryan, there's my hot take. I hope we're still friends, but Fox princesses are not Disney princesses.
I completely agree. I mean, now that Disney's bought Fox, I don't get the satisfaction of telling people that Anastasia is not a Disney film anymore because everybody argues that side of it, and I'm completely on your side. So, round of applause to you, sir.
Thank you.
My hot take actually also resides within the Disney Parks universe. If you caught this Diz Live before Earth's Mightiest Weirdos last week, you already know my thoughts on this. I think Genie Plus is actually a pretty decent replacement for FastPass. And I'm excited about what it does. I understand people's complaints about it. But in the grand scheme, I think that it's a worthy replacement and actually will have some really positive ramifications throughout the parks. It's not perfect, but I think I think Genie Plus is a good replacement for FastPass.
I'm all for it. Bryan, you and I are going to be burning together today on both of these. I'm for it. From what I've heard from friends who used the very similar system at Disneyland, it works. It's positive.
It's the best.
I will hopefully be testing it out next year when I go around my birthday to visit Disneyland. So, but yeah, Bryan, you and I are burning for the same stuff tonight.
Max Pass at Disneyland was amazing. I paid for Fast Pass when free Fast Pass was a thing. That's how good Max Pass was at Disneyland. And this is going to work fairly similarly both at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. I'm here for Genie Plus.
Feeling hot. Yeah, we are. So let us know if you're filling the ring of fire with us, or if, we just upset you so much. We'd love to hear thoughts. So, but this episode of United We Fan, the podcast, we are going to be talking about Ryan Reynolds. And Bryan and I are very excited for this. Originally, it was just going to be some of our favorite Ryan Reynolds films. And then we were like, you know what, let's do some comic book Ryan Reynolds. So we are, for everyone out there, we are going to be focusing on Ryan Reynolds, the comic book star. But if you love it, you want more of it, then who knows? Ryan Reynolds, we could talk about him all day long. But, Bryan, we need to let our friends know what our Ryan Reynolds Mount Rushmores are. You know what? I'm going to guess. I know I said I wouldn't, but I want to guess, Bryan, your Mount Rushmore of Ryan Reynolds movies. All right? All right. So there's 4. So give me 6 guesses. All right. Here I go. Ready? Yes. Just Friends. Okay. Deadpool 1. The Proposal. Yeah.
Sorry, I meant this one.
Oh yeah, they both hurt. Wow, you just had to jab them both in. Oh my God. All right. So 2 of 3. Man. Oh gosh. Free Guy? All right, so 3 of 4. Detective Pikachu?
I don't hate that movie though. I do kind of like Detective Pikachu, to be honest.
All right. So last one. Oh. Deadpool 2. All right. Okay.
It took 6
I'm ready
guesses.
for our live show. You all won't hear this until after, but Brian and I are going to be playing Family Feud tonight on this Div Life podcast, so I'm warming up for that.
Which is really
Brian,
going to throw people off when that shows up on the United We fan feed before this.
Ooh. Mind-blowing. Brian, you want to try to guess mine?
The Proposal?
Yep. Oh, you want to give yourself a ding?
Deadpool 1.
Yep.
Free Guy.
No, but so good. So good.
Free Guy was good.
So good.
It wasn't perfect, but it was fun like it was supposed to be.
Yep.
Just Friends.
Yep. So there's 3.
I know the way you reacted to Deadpool 2 being on mine, it won't be.
Cheater.
Are you really going to go Green Lantern?
I thought about the director's cut of Green Lantern because for everyone out there, I do enjoy that, but no, it did not make my Mount Rushmore. So one more guess.
Last one. I'm going to go with. I got nothing.
Definitely maybe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
that.
the movie version. I think it came out, but no, it came out maybe before it. It's if there was a movie version of How I Met Your Mother, this is it. So definitely maybe. Rachel Weisz is in it, the one who's being advertised on all the Black Widow promotions now. Oh, awkward. So, anyways, but yeah,
I didn't realize the change.
Deadpool, The Proposal, Just Friends, and definitely maybe. Those are mine. But Brian, you brought up Green Lantern, and we are talking about Ryan Reynolds, the comic book star. He didn't start with Green Lantern, but we're going to talk about Green Lantern first. So everyone, if you need to skip, please don't. Listen to my words. Listen to me. So much time has gone by from the last time you've seen Green Lantern.
Not for me.
It has gotten better. There is a director's cut with a whopping 7 extra minutes. Now, it's not a difference between a PG-13 and a rated R, but you do get more of Taika Waititi. He is in it. It is the first time Ryan Reynolds and him got to bro out. So that is in it. Here's what I'll say. I'm gonna throw some like giggles out there. Man, I found a movie replica of the Green Lantern ring from that movie at my local comic book store. Bought it, love it. I wear it so much. But anyways, I was Team Bradley Cooper. He was one of the rumored frontrunners to play Green Lantern. And I love the character of Green Lantern, read a lot. I thought Bradley Cooper would have been a perfect Hal Jordan. Ryan Reynolds would have been a great Guy Gardner, but nobody liked Guy Gardner, so I'm okay with us not getting a Guy Gardner. So, Brian, would you have liked it more had it been Bradley Cooper as Hal Jordan? Do you think it would have been maybe a better film?
I don't know if it would have been better. I don't think it would have been worse either.
Yeah.
I'm good with either. I like Bradley Cooper a lot, so I don't know if it would have been any better or worse though.
I just feel like Ryan Reynolds, he was still trying to figure out his acting voice. And, you saw it in Blade Trinity. You saw it in Wolverine, X-Men Origins. He had a certain style, and that's great for Hannibal King and Deadpool, Wade Wilson and all that. But for Green Lantern, it's not Hal Jordan. But overall, the film, Mark Strong was brilliant as Sinestro. You know what irks me? I didn't have any problem with his animated suit. I know he makes fun of it now, but with the glowing flame effect of the Green Lantern logo on his chest. And here's what I have to say to all of you fans out there now. Spider-Man suit is whole lot of CGI. Iron Man suit, once after the second one, became a whole lot of CGI. Those Endgame time warp suits, CGI. What do you got to say about it now? You all were hating on his green CGI suit.
They don't look the same. I mean, that's what we're going to say to that. Like, this movie, from a CGI standpoint, feels to me like it's like 1993.
What?
The CGI in this movie is a nightmare.
Well, they did after the trailer came out. Fans blasted it, especially his mask. They went back, had to pour more money on that. Not as much money as Henry Cavill's mustache. Wait, did I say it right, Brian, or did I say it wrong?
No, Henry Cavill,
Okay.
You're good.
Yes. Not as much as his mustache fiasco, but man, DC, come on. But I will admit I didn't have a problem when they were on Oa, the home planet for Green Lantern. I thought everything looked pretty great there. But when he's flying, the CGI wasn't that great on there.
The Guardians, like, I don't think they look good at all. Like, there's several things within the film. Like, honestly, the shot of Parallax coming into the hangar in the third act, like, that's some of the better shots of the movie, and they still struggle. Like I said, I watched you're correct. It has been years since I've given this film a fair shake.
Yeah.
It like CG, like story-wise, I was actually okay. It was just a CGI disaster.
Why can't you all just be happy? Because this is where Ryan Reynolds met his future wife, the truly amazing Blake Lively, who should be Oscar nominated. But anyways, I won't go into that rant.
You beat me to it. We owe this film to their love story, so this film belongs, if for no other reason.
Yes. So, Green Lantern, give it another shot. Try to go in there with an open mind. Just remember how much you love Taika and Ryan Reynolds. I feel like it also suffered from a lack of a good villain. Mark Strong as Sinestro would have been amazing in the second movie, but we're not going to get it. He was perfectly cast, but you had weak villains. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the CGI is perfect. No, there's flaws, but just I did not, when I saw it, and even now, I did not have a problem with the CGI suit. I think it's kind of what you have to do for Green Lantern with how it goes on and everything.
Yeah, the suit didn't honestly bother me. The shot of him in front of the sun, like, that's a cool shot. Like, they spent the most money on that shot, and it was worth it because it was in the trailers and everything else. What I don't remember is after the middle of the movie, Taika's gone. Like, we never get him back. So you talk about those 7 extra minutes in the director's cut. Like, is it in the back half of the film? Because he just disappears.
He's got a little more screen time. I think the extra time is dedicated more towards Hal's dad. So for you, Mr. Top Gun fan, and your Goose obsession,
yeah, buddy,
you will hopefully Danger Zone. Man, I'm so excited for Maverick. But you'll probably like it more because you get to see more of his dad and that storyline, and it's not 100% concrete. Like, that storyline was still a little forced, but you see more of the dad. Taika, you get him like helping him out a little bit more here and there, arranging some stuff. But man, he is dropped. I didn't think about that. He does get dropped.
He just goes away. Like, my wife's like, "Is that Taika?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's in this movie." And then like we watched like the last 45 minutes, and he like never came back. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, he was there."
Man, he's got like the fro going on and the Geek Squad glasses. I'm digging it. So
yeah, he looks
Green
like
Lantern,
he looks like that guy from the IT Crowd.
Oh,
what's his name?
Spot on. I know, I can't think of it, but I just know the gif with him eating the popcorn when things are going wrong.
Yeah, Richard Ayoade.
There you go.
He looks a lot
like
Richard
you,
Ayoade.
Speedy. I don't know if this is a hot take, but if I threw this one in the DC EU, it would not be at the bottom for me. I would still have it above the Suicide Squad. I would have it above Wonder Woman.
You would have it above what?
Suicide Squad.
Not the Suicide Squad.
Sorry. Above the Will Smith Suicide Squad.
The 2016 one. Okay.
Yes. The David Ayer one. I'd have it above Wonder Woman 1984. I would have it above, man, this makes me sad a little bit. I would have it above Batman v Superman.
Yay!
Dawn of Justice.
I'm so proud of you.
I would have it way the heck. Am I allowed to swear? Way the hell above Joss Whedon's Justice League. Then after that, I'd have to think about it, but I would have it above those. So I don't know if that's a hot take. Brian, am I feeling hot on that, or is that okay?
I'm not going to play it because I for the most part agree. Wonder Woman 1984 is actually my least favorite DCEU film because of the anticipation coming into it on top of just how poor the film was for me. Suicide Squad for sure. I'd put it on the level of Joss Whedon's Justice League. Like I would,
wow.
It's about the same. Like if you told me I could watch one or the other, I think I'd pick Green Lantern just because it's shorter.
Oh, hey, whatever. You're watching it,
but they're kind of on the same level for me. Like Aquaman's better, Birds of Prey is better. So yeah,
right.
Like I would agree with right where you put it in the DCEU.
Yeah, so give Green Lantern a chance. In Brightest Day and Blackest Night, Green Lantern will not destroy your delight. Ooh,
One last thing about Green Lantern is I do like Viola Davis as Amanda Waller more than I do Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett just was not given a good script for Amanda Waller in Green Lantern.
She's a great actress, but yeah, they gave her crap for writing.
Yep.
But I mean, not all Ryan Reynolds comic book movies were perfect. Blade Trinity, if you want to read some fun stuff about the making of a movie, Blade Trinity is one. He always goes, I never actually met Wesley Snipes or worked with Wesley Snipes. I worked with Blade. He said that in a press conference. Wesley Snipes made that production rather difficult. David S. Goyer, was the writer director on that. He's worked on, several. I mean, he worked on the Dark Knight movies. He worked on several of the DC movies. So he's good stuff, knows his comic books. Blade Trinity, I did a Blade trilogy marathon a couple months ago, and man, that movie did not age well. I still have the music album to that movie, which is dated, but man, I can't wait for our new Blade movie. Brian, when does the new Blade come out? Next year?
Rumor is 2023.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting it next year.
The first Blade movie still holds up well, but anyways, this is about Ryan Reynolds. He was Hannibal King. He was really good. Him and Jessica Biel. I felt like there was some fun chemistry, but I think also the problems with the production kind of drove them to have a good friendship. But Blade Trinity, I feel like if you just watch it here and there, yeah. But Brian, no. Not feeling that one. I mean, if you're not feeling that one, there's, of course, his first appearance as Wade Wilson in Wolverine X-Men Origins when they had planned for a Wolverine, a Magneto, and a Storm Origins movie, and, well, none of that happened. So he's in it. You get glimpses of him as the Wade Wilson we like, him having fun, like them on the plane, poking fun with his BFF, Hugh Jackman. And then just speaking of characters who kind of disappear, he disappears and then becomes Weapon X. And I'm so glad he got made fun of. It just, man.
Literally murdered by Deadpool in the post-credit scene of Deadpool 2.
So good. But Wolverine X-Men Origins, I went back, part of that, just to watch it. Hasn't aged too much better. I think there's some bad casting in that and some misdirection. Talk about some bad CGI. But yeah, enough of that. We got better X-Men movies from it. Ryan Reynolds definitely learned a lot. And luckily for us, a little teaser audition for a Deadpool kind of showed them the direction they wanted. Luckily leaked out on the internet, became a huge hit. Not as big as the Spider-Man trailer, but darn tootin' it was big enough to get Fox to go, oh man, we got something here. Let's make this a movie. And we got Deadpool. And it wasn't our first rated R movie, comic book movie. We have Kick-Ass to thank for that. So, which I thoroughly enjoy both Kick-Ass movies. So, but we got more rated R movies. We had Birds of Prey was rated R. I can't forget Logan. So Hugh Jackman, I'm sure he's thinking Ryan Reynolds a little bit. But Deadpool, Brian, take it away. It's on both of our Mount Rushmores, and you actually have both Deadpools on your Mount Rushmore. So the first one, could anyone else have played Deadpool?
I mean, I'm not going to be so short-sighted to say no, but I don't know who could have pulled it off in the same manner. Ryan Reynolds is Wade Wilson is Deadpool. Like, I mean, they go so hand in hand now. If you go through Ryan Reynolds' IMDb, the amount of times he's appeared as Deadpool in short films and commercials, and that short thing he did with Korg and Taika Waititi just a couple weeks ago was super, super funny. But Deadpool 1, like you said, it opened up a whole new... It wasn't our first rated R comic book movie, but it was the first one that was willing to go for it in the same manner. I love Colossus. Negasonic Teenage Warhead was a fun character. I just think they did a lot of fun. It also gave us Gina Carano. Before she was on The Mandalorian, she did the superhero landing. Just everything with Colossus, the way they structured the film and where it opened and then kind of going back. And it truly was a love story. If I remember correctly, Mark, didn't this movie come out on Valentine's Day?
It came out on Valentine's Day, and I waited in line to go see the premiere of it. Disney Springs was packed, and they asked parents not to take kids to go see it. It's not your typical comic book movie, and everyone in line kind of scolded all those parents who took their kids to this rated R movie opening night.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I love Dopinder. I think the character of Weasel was a lot of fun. That has become a little bit problematic at this point, but the Dopinder cracked me up. I mean, Ajax was a fun villain. The way they actually told the story of why he did what he did and how he became Deadpool was told really, really well. The visuals were amazing. It jumped off the screen how just miserable and creepy that entire laboratory was. It was really, really good storytelling. It's a really good movie.
It was really good. The laughs, I did a double feature for this episode, and the laughs are still there in the first one. I love the love story because I haven't read any Deadpool. So it was like a weak area for me. I just know a lot of people love him. And from what I did know, I was like, how can you have a love story with Deadpool? Like, who? But that story worked so well. Ajax as a villain. What is he? He's a cleaning spray.
He's a dish soap.
He's a dish soap. I thought that was a good villain. That highway chase scene that was part of the kind of audition proposal for Fox, the extended version made it into the movie, and I think it's something straight out of a comic book. It's also perfectly filmed for an action scene, but just some of the little things are in it because you get a taste of it in the beginning of the movie, and then we actually go to it later in the movie, and I think that's just it's a great action scene.
Yeah. It's as irreverent as it's supposed to be, but it's over the top. Like, that's the point though, but it's so hard to quote unquote critique the film for being over the top or taking you out of it because it's designed to do all of those things all at the same time. Like, he breaks the fourth wall. He talks to the audience. Just all of that kind of stuff is really funny and really original for this type of film genre. For me, I love it. And do you believe the conspiracies that Ryan Reynolds is the one that leaked it? It was on his official Twitter feed. I don't know if it was the first place, but I think he was at least part of the leak.
I don't think anything happens with Deadpool without Ryan Reynolds. I'll answer it like that.
That's fair.
So, but yeah, I mean, the film is great. It's an 8. It's 8 even on IMDb. You know me, I love to do my IMDb ratings. Bryan, over, under, or is 8 pretty spot on for you for this movie?
I'd go 8.5, maybe. I'd probably honestly give this one a 9 and give Deadpool 2 an 8.5. So, I mean, just a little bit under.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. So it's right there for me. It's good stuff. Marina Baccarin, I'm so sorry if I butcher your name. She, of course, plays Vanessa. And at the time, I was watching Gotham, and she's on that. Yeah. So this was a very different character from Gotham for her. So good for her. TJ Miller, he's done some idiotic things in the real world, but I think his character as Weasel, yeah, like you mentioned, it's kind of problematic, but him and Ryan Reynolds do have some good scenes together. I dig the film, and I know that Bryan, it's time for a Random Rushmore.
The game where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
All right, Bryan, never let anyone say that we aren't basic. I am going to find out, and for everyone playing at home, Bryan is a smarty pants. I'm going to pants him by asking him a Random Rushmore to keep him off guard. That is always my goal, and hopefully we have fun with it. So, Bryan, this one is a basic Rushmore. I want to know, what are your favorite top 4 Rushmore pumpkins? So, what I mean by this is, I will go first. My favorite pumpkins, I like pumpkin pie, pumpkin seeds, Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King, and then, you know what? Good pumpkin candle. That's good. I'll go with that. That'll be my Rushmore. So, Bryan, when you think pumpkins, are you thinking like jack-o'-lanterns? Are you thinking of, what is it, Pumpkinhead, that bad horror movie? Are you a basic pumpkin-flavored coffee Starbucks person? You liking some pie? Ooh, there's the little pumpkin candies. I remember those. Those are good. Oh, man. No, it's still not making my list. So, Bryan, when you're thinking of pumpkins, I mean, besides thinking of me, what other pumpkins are you thinking of?
I will not be able to come up with 4. I know it. I don't care that much about Halloween. I don't like pumpkin-flavored anything. I know that'll shock you. I will go with Mickey Pumpkins at the Magic Kingdom.
So good.
I will go with the pumpkin stagecoach in Cinderella.
Oh.
I will go with...
You don't like pumpkin pie?
Jack-o'-lanterns. I do not like pumpkin pie. I don't like the consistency. I don't like the flavor. I don't like anything about pumpkin pie.
I forgot who I was talking to about food.
Yep.
I'm going to have to talk to your dad about this.
Yeah. Pumpkin seeds. I will go with those. Roasted and I will go with that. And then my 4th will go with jack-o'-lanterns.
That's fun.
That's all
do you and your kids do some jack-o'-lantern carving?
Not well.
No, that's okay.
I like the little plastic pieces that you can buy and just shove them in and make your pumpkin look like Spider-Man. It's a lot easier for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was our Random Rushmore. I see Bryan is not basic, so I'll have to think of something less basic next time.
Random as they come, that's for sure.
I know. Well, Deadpool 2, we have an extended cut, we have a theatrical cut, we have a PG-13 cut. Bryan, which one would you like to talk about first? Do you have a preferred version, or what you thinking?
I mean, let's just go with the theatrical release first.
Okay.
This movie had a lot of hype coming into it. I mean, it's been several years, so at this point, I feel like we're allowed to say it. I think it was kind of a bummer that they killed Vanessa so early in the film. I do like how she was able to come back and kind of be that guiding light for him still. But this movie was a bit of a tough watch. If the first one was over the top, to be over the top, then this one definitely did that. Again, I think they did a good job from a villain standpoint. Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds was still the same guy that he always is. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, Cable's amazing. I think they were hurt by Cable being played by Josh Brolin only because it was coming around so close between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame and him being Thanos. I do like the trailers and how they left the green arm on him before they did all the visual effects. I love what they did with the Toy Story characters in the trailer. Like, there was all that kind of stuff that they built around. I will say that Julian Dennison as Fire Fist is my biggest hangup with this film.
Yes, thank you.
I don't care for his character. They literally took the same character from Hunt for the Wilder People and just put him in the film and said, do the same thing. He even does the Biggie Smalls rap. I didn't care for Fire Fist really much at all. I do absolutely love and always will love not only was Juggernaut in this film, but Ryan Reynolds played Juggernaut in this film. I think that was a lot of fun. The Icebox was really, really fun, but my biggest hang-up that separates Deadpool 2 from Deadpool 1 for me is the existence of Fire Fist.
I'm with you, and I don't want our listeners to ever think we're like those angry podcasters. Julian Dennison is...
Is it Julian?
Is it Julian or Julian? Oh, man,
I assumed Julian, but let's throw this out there for either one of us.
Who? That's my bad then.
It very well could be Julian, but I assume Julian.
We'll look that up. We'll do our homework. It's nothing against him. You know, he played the part. I'm happy he got cast in it, but he took me out of so many moments in that movie. I don't know if it was with his character choices or just the way the character was written. It just took me out of it. And like I said, I rewatched the movies, and he irritates me less in the movie. And like I said, the character, not the actor, the character. I'm just going to keep not being a troll. And I agree with you. He's probably the biggest weakness of the film. Josh Brolin, I didn't mind, especially since they make fun of the fact that he's not comic book accurate. I love that Deadpool is willing to call that out. Domino in this movie, having the superpower of luck.
Domino.
What's your shtick?
I'm lucky.
That's not a superpower.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
It really isn't.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Told you.
Get out of my head!
She was brilliant. Her scene, the whole skydiving scene alone is just...
That scene is what makes this a Ryan Reynolds Mount Rushmore film for me.
Yep.
Oh, that skydiving scene, man.
Did we forget to talk about Blind Owl? Did you mention Blind Owl when we were talking about Deadpool 1?
No.
Oh, Blind Owl, I think she's hilarious in both films. I definitely think she brings a whole different comedic aspect with Ryan Reynolds. And then you got Bryan. We do have a Brooklyn Nine-Niner in Deadpool 2. So, Nine-Nine! Yeah. Oh, Terry Crews. What a great man. But sadly, are we allowed to spoil? Are we out of the window?
Away, man, it's been friggin' 3 years at this point.
Sadly, X-Force with Terry Crews does not make it. Bill Skarsgård, who is Pennywise from It 1 and 2, he sadly doesn't make it. I remember the first time I watched the movie and the Vanisher gets electrocuted, and you see who it is. I'm like, wait, was it? I was like, was that Brad Pitt? Hang on. And of course you're seeing him.
Brad Pitt.
you couldn't, like, in a movie you can't like rewind it. So I'm like,
exactly.
That was that Brad Pitt. That was so good on him. I'm glad he does that. I'm glad all of Ryan Reynolds' friends do fun little cameos. It definitely adds a lot to it. And then of course
the invisible backpack jumps out of the ship. It's the funniest thing to me. Like, oh my gosh. The X-Force stuff was the entire marketing campaign, and they killed them all, and it was amazing.
Well, I will admit, the first time the backpack, the joke didn't get me, and then when I saw it the second time in the Once Upon a Deadpool, the PG-13 one, then I saw the backpack, and I'm like, how did I miss that joke? And then, I mean, going on with more cameos, Alan Tudyk and Matt Damon. They're both the rednecks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge Matt Damon fan. Even if it's just a cameo, I'm there. Alan Tudyk, of course, Firefly, and then any voice Pixar and Disney needs, he's there. But of course, Bryan, Mr. Star Wars, who is he in that universe?
Alan Tudyk? He's K2SO.
Yeah. Did you know that wasn't me?
There we go. Yeah. So Deadpool 2, at first when I saw it, I wasn't as impressed. It's definitely grown on me. I don't like it more than the first one. Bryan, I'm surprised it made it into your Mount Rushmore hearing you talk about it. But
there aren't that many Ryan Reynolds films, like when you go to his IMDb. There's really not.
See,
so that made the top 4 a little bit more difficult.
Man, when I was younger and really immature, Van Wilder was hilarious to me. Has not aged too well, but he did a movie called
Forever.
He did a movie called Buried where literally it's him in a coffin, and it will give you anxiety. If you want to see Ryan Reynolds actually act, that movie Buried will do it.
Six Underground was kind of fun on Netflix.
That was a good Netflix movie.
Right.
I'll put it that way. That was a good Netflix movie. Of course, there's the movie Waiting, which anyone who has worked in serving or restaurants can relate in different ways to that movie Waiting. So yeah, Ryan Reynolds got some fun ones, and then of course his TV show was it Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. That was a cute one. But anyways, Deadpool 2. I first when I saw the PG-13. Oh, I like the extended one. If you get a chance, watch the extended cut. I like it. Does it add too much story-wise? No, but it adds a lot more fun. And that's what this movie is. The PG-13 one, Fred Savage, Deadpool, Princess Bride. How can you go wrong? I was a little like, how's this going to work? But the fact that they used the beeping into the jokes made it more hilarious. And then Fred Savage, like, saying the one word and he's just beeping it. It just made it hilarious. So I'm all for the PG-13. I don't think Deadpool should ever be PG-13 as the first option, but it was good to see them make something hilarious PG-13.
Yeah, not as the first option. I agree with that. It's the only Deadpool my wife's ever watched because just the others are just too aggressive for her. But with Princess Bride being one of my top 10 favorite films ever, it was all the references, all the small references that you could pick up on if you knew both films so well and knew the characters. Like, it was funny. It was very funny. I don't think it's something that they should do often, but I think as a one-off, it was a really funny idea.
And it came out at Christmas time. That was the other funny thing about it. So yeah, as a whole, Deadpool 1 and 2, I think are good stuff. Definitely, like I said, opened the door for more adult comic book movies. Hugh Jackman looking at you with Logan. But we're not done yet. Fox, the merger with Disney, we were all worried about it. They said no more of those X-Men movies. We're going to do it on our terms. Ryan Reynolds, I think, has so much respect from Kevin Feige, who, he said he's a fan of it. Even Bob Iger said he doesn't want to touch it or water it down. So if Bobby Iger is cool with it, I'm glad that Disney, Kevin Feige, and Marvel Studios said, we're going to do a third one. We're going to keep it rated R. We're going to let Ryan Reynolds do Ryan Reynolds. So I know he's working on the script. He keeps teasing us. Brian, do you think there's going to be a lot more MCU jokes in this one?
I need to ask, did you just call him Bobby Iger? Are you on that level with him?
Yeah, I mean, if if he's got his business mode on when he looks like he's got the Old Spice laid on thick, that's Robert Iger. When he's doing press events and having fun Disney stuff, Bob Iger. When he's unbuttoning that top collar, Bobby Iger.
All right,
Bobby G.
Enough. Oh, there will absolutely be plenty of MCU references. There's always been a few decent ones. I very much, and I wish it hadn't been in the trailer because I think I would enjoy it even more. You're so dark? Are you sure you're not from the DC universe? I think that is one of the all-time best lines. Before Avengers Endgame came out, I saw an idea that said, and there's no way they would possibly have ever done it, but it would have been an absolute riot, is if the entire battlefield that happens at Avengers Endgame is completely empty, and Deadpool comes running on and goes, guys, I'm sorry I'm late. That merger took forever. God. I'm here. I think that would have been an absolute riot, but Kevin Feige has said it is going to fit within the MCU, so the amount of references, I don't even want to know. If we're ever going to get Robert Downey Jr. to appear in another MCU film, I hope that that's it just for the fun of it.
I mean, I know I enjoyed in the second one when you had the X-Men First Class do that little cameo. That was cute. I did enjoy that. He in the first one was like, "Where are all the X-Men? we couldn't afford any more." So
yeah, Beast is behind the door. He just closes the door.
I dug all that. I love your idea of the battlefield. That'll be, I don't have anything. I think that's pretty great to have him like that. I know some fans were getting their hopes up that he was going to be somewhere in the Avengers Assemble scene. I'm like, no, the deal was done way too late. Plus, I don't think they'd want to do that for such a moment like that. No.
I don't know if
Kevin,
I agree with that. I mean, you could throw him in there. You put Howard the Duck in that scene. You might as well put Deadpool in there.
Yeah, but Howard the Duck was already part of the MCU. It wasn't going to be forced.
It's true.
Once you go duck, you never go back. You know?
Give me the tool.
So, but yeah, Deadpool, excited for Deadpool 3. What do you think? 2023? Is that what they're hoping for?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the soonest. No shot next year.
I know Sean Levy, him and Ryan Reynolds have a good relationship. I'm okay if he wants to come in and do it. He did work with him on Free Guy, and that was a visual. I got to say this. Free Guy, took a lot of elements, balanced it well. I dug it a lot, just like the master Steven Spielberg did with Ready Player One. But this is where Space Jam 2 just faltered, not being able to juggle. So good for you, Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds, for juggling so much in Free Guy. I know they didn't have as many properties as those other ones. Don't come at me. But they still juggled a video game world element type thing like amazingly. So bring on Deadpool 3. Okay. The Merc with the Mouth is just really... God, yeah. Man, I'm sorry for the language, people, but it had to be said. Brian, you can uncover your ears. That concludes this episode of United We Fan, the podcast. We thank you, fellow fans, for uniting with us. For those listeners who want to get in touch with the show, please do so. Brian, tell our listeners how they can message the show and stay up to date on everything UWF.
You can find us on Instagram at UnitedWeFan_podcast. Anywhere you find your podcast, you can find me on Babu's Frickin' Podcast talking about Star Wars. You can find both of us on Earth's Mightiest Weirdos every Monday night on This Diz Life YouTube channel at 8:30 or anywhere you find your podcasts. And then, of course, you can send us an email at UnitedWeFanPodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. We love hearing from you all, so please unite with us. Let us know if you're watching it live. We love comments, whether it's angry at our hot takes or yay for something we said that you agreed with. Let us know. Join us live whenever you can. If not, reach out to us. Local artists, we love you. If you ever want to do poster artwork, our buddy John did a couple episodes. Fidel did a couple episode artworks. We love it. We love supporting local artists. Our good friend of the show, Justin, who had a new album just come out on Bandcamp. Check him out. He did our intro for United We Fan Plus, as well as Earth's Mightiest Windows. Earth's Mightiest Windows. So Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. So local artists, reach out to us. We'd love to help support you. Thank you again, and listen to us wherever you check out your podcasts. We're streaming everywhere. Till we unite again, fans, remember, maximum effort.
You may be wondering why the red suit. Well, that's so bad guys can't see me bleed. This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.